So without further ado, let's go ahead. I'm so excited. I can't talk, guys. Let's go ahead and have our next certified whole wellness coach, Mr. Bob Nesbitt, come and share his wisdom with us. I'm so excited to hear what you have to share, Bob. Thank you for being here tonight. Just go ahead and unmute and share a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Oh, wow. So, lot to discuss here. I mean, I made notes here and I could talk about the points that Kathy and Miel presented all in itself. So good, so good, so much, so packed full of great information. So I kind of feel like I was a track runner, right? So I kind of feel, and I was the last leg of the relay. So that person is the best person on the team, right? So I kind of feel like here I am, I've a lot to live up to here, but I'm not saying I'm the best person of the team by any means, but it just brought that into me here. It's like, wow, okay, this is a relay, it's like, okay, what am I going to bring forward here to make this any better than what's already been presented? Because it was just all so good. With that being said, there's, no pressure, right? So the tips that were shared and everything was just so good. So first of all, I wanted just to welcome everybody here to this 555 challenge. And I'm so glad that you're here with us and that you've made the commitment to show up for yourself. And I'm honored to be here and share with you my journey, experiences, and tips as a whole wellness coach myself has totally helped me transform my life in so many different ways. And that's what I want for you too. So thank you for saying yes to yourself and showing up, because I know there are many other places that you could be. And really, I'm just excited to get started. So shall we, right? So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Bob Nesbitt, and I'm a whole wellness coach and also a functional medicine practitioner. And I empower middle-aged men by letting them know who they really are and how powerful they can be by manifesting the infinite possibilities available to them. And I help them move forward by using a holistic, client-centered, trauma-informed, and empowerment-based approach. So this helps them to go within and tap into their own inner light so that they can show up and be the best versions of themselves and be their own badass self-healers, right? So tonight I'm going to be talking about perfectionism, that desire to be perfect, and how that's holding us back from moving forward towards the life that you deserve, and how that plays into self-sabotage, playing small, and keeping you stuck. I'll also share with you some tips that you can implement to start moving yourself forward out of perfectionism and into the life that you deserve. So again, we'll be talking about perfectionism, how it's impacted me, and its impact it has on our nervous system. I'll present a few quick tips to help calm and reset that nervous system in helping you to move forward. So in starting just a little bit, I think it was my preceding examples of people who just spoke kind of explained this already about what perfectionism is, but this word gives the ego something to strive for, that mark of excellence, if you will. But how does one define perfect? As what is considered perfect for me may be different for everyone else. And I feel is driven from fear of not measuring up and comparing to others. But yet we are all unique and different. So how can perfect even really exist? As I recall, when I was younger, I was given a task. And when I thought I was done, I would ask, is this good enough? And I was told, well, if you have to ask, it probably isn't. So being perfect can be purely subjective. It's something the ego creates, that I feel, right? And I didn't realize it, but trying to be in control of everything was holding me back, in fear of thinking that I'm not smart enough, not knowing enough, talented enough, whatever, just good enough in general. Fill in the blank, that enough, right? And that I couldn't do it unless I was perfect. And I would bring in all these other things that would keep me feeling in control, and that I'm at least doing something oh, I'll get to that once I get this done and get this thing done, and so on, right? And so this would be a never-ending cycle, all in an effort to justify why I don't get things done. Trying to be in control of everything got me stuck in a cycle of self-sabotage and feeling safe in my comfort zone. And I didn't know I had this block until I went through a program called Break Free Mind, which you've heard many of us already talk about, which really helped me reveal many of the blocks that I had. So I just want to take this opportunity to thank Lita Sportel and the group actually in general for putting together Break Free Mind and this challenge and allowing me to break free into the person that I truly am, thus allowing me to coach other people along the way. So all that doing and keeping busy was actually showing up as procrastination, right? It was holding me back. But I thought keeping busy was a good thing and I would wear it like a badge of honor, and that maybe I can do it all myself and not having to ask for help from anybody was something that I could be proud of. You know, can any of you relate, you know? And then as a man, I didn't have the time for all that emotional, feely stuff, you know, either. I was all in my head, so analytical. Maybe you've heard of the term paralysis in the analysis, right? You know, so that was definitely me. And I'm still a work in progress. I was that go-getter and a control addict. I'll just do it all myself. I'll take care of it. And also I was that person who never wanted, well, someone else to do things because, well, they wouldn't do it right, or maybe not the way that I wanted it to be done. So no, I had to do it. You know, I had to do that thing. So anybody else out there that can relate to that? And are you just a do-it-all-myself kind of person? Let me know in the comments by typing control if you can relate. So a little bit on my backstory. And as a child and how perfectionism came into play at an early age. As I was often bullied and ridiculed for, I felt, no apparent reason. And I was often misunderstood and just didn't fit in. As such, I held the belief that something was wrong with me and that I needed to change to be maybe more perfect was the answer, as I felt less than, not seen, not heard, didn't matter, and often misunderstood. And I just wanted to be accepted, as any child and teenager might want, right? As I didn't understand what supposedly was wrong with me, and I just, again, wanted to fit in, not feeling worthy. I would often disengage socially out of fear of being bullied, ridiculed, and misunderstood, and not fitting in. Type in bully if you can relate. So I never felt like I was good enough, which I understand now is why I stayed with athletics, as it was something I was good at. But off the field was much different story. The bullying eventually stopped, thank goodness, as I grew older and stronger, and I would then stand up for myself a little bit more. But still, those deep wounds of self-worth, doubt, fears of being accepted, fitting in, still remained. More trauma for that inner child, right? Just pile it on. So fast forward into my adult years and running my own business, I found myself struggling with my health as I was that workaholic, all go, doing, all in an effort to provide a better life for my family, trying to be that perfect spouse with little regard of my own well-being. As such, my body was in a constant state of sympathetic flight or flight mode, and often I found myself in a state of freeze, as my body would shut down, which was trying to send me signals to change. But at the time, I didn't know really how to listen or what was going on there. So if anybody can relate to being a workaholic, type that in the chat as well. So it's interesting on how the psychology of all this affects our biology. And so how does this affect our nervous system, right? Well, it changes it from rest, digest, and social connection, where we want to be most of the time, to one of danger and attack, which will shut down the energy production from the mitochondria and send signals throughout the body to conserve. As such, we don't have the energy we need to do things efficiently, like detoxing and digestion, and things like constipation and brain fog often show up. So when you're in a state of that constant perfectionism, that's what happens to your system. So this is known as cell danger response, or CDR. Now, of course, perfectionism isn't the only thing that can engage CDR. There are all sorts of threats out there in our environment and anything around us. Whatever we perceive as a threat, but again, that's for another time. But the gist of all this is, in part, why you are unable to move forward due to the lack of energy production from being a workaholic. So if this resonates with anybody, type CDR in the chat as well. And I hope that you can, maybe you can relate to that. So I find this all interesting, as perfectionism has a way of just quietly slipping in, which is closely related to control and is coupled with anxiety and is actually opposite sides of that same coin. So with being a workaholic and the control freak, I would be self-critical and compare myself to others, all in an effort to feel a sense of that self-worth. I would continue to work hard, putting extreme amounts of pressure on myself in my efforts for a better life for my family. And when things didn't go as planned, I would beat myself up, which leads to more self-critical thoughts and implementing even more control, thus leading to our perpetual state of anxiety, overwhelm, and despair. And then that just further engages with that CDR component as well, right? So that first step is awareness, which Kathy elaborated on that quite a bit, and she said that so eloquently, and I love that. And recognizing these perfectionism traits. So some traits of perfectionism can be as follows. I mentioned the workaholic, the type A personality, being the control freak, comparing yourself to others. Now, some thought patterns going along with this perfectionism trait. It could be things like, I should work harder. It's always going to be difficult. It's going to take a lot of time. It's just going to be hard, and this isn't going to work for me. And you have to work hard and struggle to get what you want. So can any of you relate to any of these traits or patterns? Type traits in the chat if any of this resonates with you. So, wow, I know, a mouthful, right? So additionally, since I didn't feel smart enough and not worthy, I found myself collecting courses, trainings, webinars, and so on, as I had this huge fear of not knowing enough, which kept me busy thinking this is what I needed to do, right? But what I really needed to do was take action and stop that compulsive collecting. And while we all hate starting at the beginning, learning from our mistakes and learning and failures, we hate the mistakes and failures that we'll make. Those failures and things, get in the way, right? And so our ego takes over and wants to keep you safe. And so that subconscious programming then can take over. So it's important to recognize and become aware of these things and take steps to rewrite new programs, neural reprogramming, right? So, and I had times where perfectionism was so bad and I would be scattered and not knowing what to do next. And I had so many tasks, things to do going on in my head. So throughout my health recovery journey, I started to understand this better. But it wasn't until I went through Break Free Mind that the true understanding of these personality traits became more clear, and practicing awareness and being gentle with myself throughout the process was a key component. So throughout the years, I have been through a lot of training programs and learned a great deal along the way, but nothing gave me lasting results like when I went through Break Free Mind. So some action tips that I can share with you here. And so if you're ready for some of those, I have some super simple somatic exercises. So breath work is essential to calming the nervous system. And though we engage with memories of trauma in the mind, the impact of energy of it lives in the body and creates issues in our tissues. So because of this, an essential component of rewiring oneself for wellness, which is often skipped, I feel, in many neural rewiring programs, is implementing what I call bottom-up strategies. In other words, body to mind, versus being solely top-down, mind to body approaches. And a big part of doing this is doing gentle movements aimed at increasing the flow of energy, uplifting the spirit, in turn synchronizing the body, mind, and heart, and putting the entire system in a flow state. So I have two to share with you. And one is for the morning and another for the evening, and so basically how you start and end your day. So for the morning, this first one, which is part of my morning routine, I do this every morning, but it can be done throughout the day as well. And it's called the breath of joy, which is done while standing and has 3 different arm positions. And with each arm movement, I take one partial breath in through my nose, with the third final breath being the one that fills my lungs completely, basically topping it off, with a brief hold of breath at the top. And then I exhale out of my mouth, and then I make a downward bend movement, and then I repeat the process 10 times. So you'd want to do that at least 10 times, and we'll go through it here quickly. But so I'll do it for you, and please join in with me in a quick demo here, and I'll start out slow and then speed up, but go at a pace that works for you, right? And let go of doing it perfectly, right? So it'll kind of go like this. So let me back up here a little bit. All right, so you just stand up, arms at your side, and as you lift your arms, you breathe in slightly, just a partial, then to the side, again partial, and then you finish it off at the top. You're topped off, and then you bend over and you let out through the mouth. Again, up. I'm speeding it up. So I hope you like that. You can continue on, but do at least 10. I didn't quite do 10 there just in the sake of time here, but I think you kind of get the gist of that. So if you like that, write joy in comments so I know how well you like that exercise. Okay, so the second exercise, wrapping up, that I do in the evening is called legs up the wall. But it can be done at any time as well. But this gives some structure to my routines, which that ego likes. So I work with the ego in this fashion. So the legs up the wall, which is really an inverted position, a half shoulder stand, and is a restorative hatha yoga technique known as Vyaparta Karani. So I don't know if I said it correctly, but Vyaparta Karani. If anybody is really into yoga, they'll probably correct me there. And has various techniques, but it's basically where you lay on your back with your legs up the wall. I think I printed out a picture here. I don't know if you guys can make it out, but it's just real simple. I mean, nothing complex here, but just laying legs up the wall. But a simple web search for legs up the wall pose will show you images and more about it. So anyway, you would start by laying on one side and scoot your butt up against the wall, and then kind of rotate and put your legs up the wall. And to make this position more effective, you can add a bolster, which that picture had in it, underneath to raise your spine slightly. Make sure it's a soft bolster, because you wouldn't want it to be too rigid or big, because that could cause a really big curve in your back and could be painful. So, but like a pillow, I suggest to get used to doing it without a pillow to start with. But the idea is to elevate the heart above the head. So anyways, you probably will see some pictures if you do a search, people doing, really inverted with their heart, really up, their spine is really up. So anyway, your legs are going up the wall and your butt is, well, butted up against the wall, right? So again, you're laying down on the floor and your legs are going up the wall. And if you put a pillow under your spine, you're going to prop your heart up to where it's higher than your head. And this is a really great position to hold while you do some slow, deep breathing. I'm not going to demo that here. It's kind of awkward to do so, but I think you kind of get the idea. But you would do this, you would lay in this position for 10 minutes to help calm the nervous system, which moves stuck energy, and it actually increases vagal tone as well. It also helps to reduce swelling in your ankles and feet and helps you manage stress. So for myself, I'll stack this by listening to various types of meditative music or healing frequencies while I'm also practicing my other breathing exercises I have, like maybe box breath or something. So I'll do 3 things there. I'm doing the legs up the wall, I'm listening to my music, meditative stuff, healing frequencies or whatever, and then I'm breathing at the same time. So it keeps the ego busy, right? It doesn't have a chance to like, oh, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. No, I'm keeping myself busy. I'm stacking it. But so work yourself slowly into these things, and I don't expect you to do it all at once, but just to kind of give you an idea what I do. It's very simple, it's not very complex, and it's very powerful, and you can do it multiple times a day, but it's especially effective in the evening as it puts your nervous system into the parasympathetic state prior to bed. So it's effective during the day or morning, but it's particularly effective for like winding down, getting us prepared for sleep. It's an amazing position, and the more you can get your heart elevated above your head, the more efficacious it is at helping to tone the vagus nerve. So a very, very interesting exercise. I hope this was clear and that you practiced this and enjoyed these tips. Let me know by legs in the comments. So in wrapping up here, I wanted to thank Gilly and my other speakers, Kathy and Miel here, and Lita, in guiding us through all this, and of course Lita for helping us become whole wellness coaches that we are. And I love giving people a place that make us feel that we're not alone, a place of home, so to speak, right? So I do have an upcoming Break Free Mind course that I'm going to be starting fairly soon. Haven't got an exact date yet, but I'd love for you to join, and I also offer one-on-one coaching as well. If you want to connect that way too, you can. And I believe others here may have upcoming classes to offer as well, so I don't want to think that I'm the only one. And we will all be offering solutions that you can break free from as well. And if any of you guys are like, what the heck are you even talking about? What's this program? How do I even do this? What are you talking about? Well, just reach out. We'll explain it to you. And I would love to connect with you guys if you're interested. So again, please just reach out. And the best way is probably through Messenger. And I'm excited to connect with you all. Or maybe you might resonate with one of the other beautiful souls here as well. And that's quite okay too. And we can open the doors, but it's truly up to you to walk through them, right? And with that, I'm going to hand it back to my partner here, Gilly. And thank you with much love and joy to you all. You are born from love, and you come from the stars. Sat Nam.
Thank you, Bob. What a beautiful presentation and so many wonderful tips you provided us this evening. I do have a question. With the joy, breath of joy,
yeah.
Is it that you are to speed up your breath or?
Yes, you don't want to be too mechanical. I was doing it slow at the beginning to kind of give you a guys idea, but you don't need to rush through it either. Go at a pace you feel comfortable with to where, but the idea is to be fluid and not to be, just da, 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 down, da, 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 down. You don't have to be, so mechanical, right? Just, right? Yeah.
More like a dance. I'm seeing a bit of
exactly. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And be with it, right? And just, be with it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Bob. Thanks for bringing the science of the body into the conversation around gentleness and around ego, and trauma healing. I really enjoyed hearing your perspective on this and your wisdom around the body. And I know that many people also have connected with this in the comment section. I have seen it. Go ahead and check the comment section when you get a chance. Lots of people saying joy, lots of people saying legs, and control and bully. So many key words in this, right? And I can
Right?
relate to, yeah,
It's
go
a,
ahead.
yeah, there's a lot there. Yeah, there's a lot there. So, yeah, yeah, great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So thank you so much for allowing this time that we have
Yeah,
together.
absolutely. And thank you, Lita Sportel, for hosting this space for all of us to join together. Thank you to all who have joined in the comment section, who will be joining us in the replays as well. Feel free to add your comments. We will be checking them throughout the week. You're never too late. You're always on time. It's all very, very much perfect, right? um, Tonight, I do have a session to run to, so I won't be facilitating any exercises this evening, but I'll be back with this lovely group of individuals tomorrow to bring tips and insights and to share with you a little bit about who I am and what I do as well. Until then, folks, thank you so much. Thank you, Kathy, Miel, Bob, for bringing your light and your love and your hearts forward tonight so others can be their own BA badass healers, as Bob said. To build that awareness and to bring gentleness and move the energy in our lives so that we can say, is it possible that I can live a better life? Is it possible? Right. So we'll see you again tomorrow night, guys. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful evening. And we'll be back for day 2, other opinion block at 4 p.m. tomorrow Pacific time. Lots of love, lots of light.